Mass arrests in California at the No Kings protests, and I am not surprised in the least bit. I'm also wearing a very ridiculous jacket. I hope you enjoy it. So we saw the massive nationwide No Kings protests where, of course, our liberal friends are going to highlight only the greatest moments where people are smiling, laughing, chanting. But I'm going to say my experience was not particularly good with the No Kings protests that were happening out here by us in West Virginia. They were disruptive. And I'm not going to whinge necessarily about it, but I will say when my family is trying to go for a Sunday stroll and go to get lunch, and I have my new baby, and people are screaming, banging drums, and blocking the roadways, and I can't drive through my area, it is disruptive. And I understand that's the point. I'm not complaining because I understand that protests do happen, but I will just say, for I and many other people who were trying to go, and yes, the people we were with, we wanted to go have a nice family stroll on a Sunday and get some cheeseburgers. It was off-putting, disruptive, and people were pissed off. So I'm not going to. In Charlestown, we had a big protest. People were complaining about it. And obviously the people who are there are not complaining about it. I understand that. But for the people who are very much in support of these things, when you have videos of people pulling up bricks off the ground and throwing them, you have 75 arrests, you have people marching with communist flags saying communist revolution, your message is heard loud and clear.
Patriots, I'm at Restored Republic via AGCR update for Monday, March 30th, 2026, compiled by Judy Byington. Global financial system on brink of reset. World leaders fleeing from global financial collapse. Mainstream media blackout expected within hours. Temporary martial law imminent. U.S. Inc. dissolved. Washington, D.C. designated a military district. The storm is here. Where we go one, we go all. Hold the line. Stay united. Trust the plan. Judy note on Saturday, March 28, 2026. The Democrats in Congress refused again to protect U.S. elections by demanding voter ID. They did, however, vote positive on a bill to protect themselves from investigation. They'll refuse to fund Homeland Security and allow federal employees to be paid. Then they all left for a 3-week paid vacation, with some likely going on taxpayer-funded holidays to wherever. Don't you love it? These were the people voted in by their own fraudulent election, and who, by all accounts, were money laundering taxpayer monies back into their own pockets. That's why they needed the illegal alien votes to keep themselves in office. They were undoubtedly being mind-controlled, blackmailed by their master controllers, the Illuminati deep state cabal. Speaking of the Illuminati cabal, on Thursday, March 5th, the cabal foreign banker-owned U.S. Inc. was dissolved, with common law sovereignty installed in the U.S. under concepts of the original Constitution. Admiralty law fraud was forever crushed. On Sunday, May 17, 2026, it was expected that an announcement would be made of this U.S. change to a sovereign republic based on principles of the original Constitution, along with a requested 45 days of prayer to Saturday, July 4, 2026, for a massive 4th of July celebration of the restored constitutional republic, according to President Donald J. Trump. On February 20th, 2026, the U.S. Congress passed and President Trump signed the Jassara-Nassara Reset Bill. The bill mandated that the United States would no longer recognize the fiat U.S. dollar as the national currency. The privately owned by Illuminati cabal foreign bankers' Federal Reserve dollar would be replaced by the gold asset-backed U.S. Treasury note, with a start date of Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. Banks which were not Basel III compliant, had gold asset-backed monies, would be closed. It was advised to withdraw your monies from your account before such banks froze it. By Sunday, March 29th, Bank of America customers found out that brittle truth. Those Bank of America customers were reporting that money was missing from their accounts. They're telling us to call customer service, but customer service isn't doing anything about it. Donald J. Trump, office on Telegram. On Saturday, March 28, 2026, 3,300 No King Day rallies referring to President Trump were planned across the U.S. that all turned out to be big flops. Liberals are growing worried that today's No Kings protests turn out to be a massive flop, saying to focus more on how many protests there are than how many people showed up. Trump watch on Telegram. It's pathetic. On Saturday, March 28, 2026, during today's No Kings Day protests, we look at the real kings of America. Chuck Schumer, 45 years in Congress. Nancy Pelosi, 40 years in Congress. Elizabeth Warren, 15 years in Congress. Bernie Sanders, 34 years in Congress. Dick Durbin, 43 years in Congress. Donald Trump, only 5 years, 2 months in office. 10 Days of Darkness on Telegram. How to be successful in building your dream, President Trump. No one is too young to be successful. You can do anything. Love what you do. Think big. It's just as hard to solve a big problem as a small problem. Work hard, work hard, work hard. Don't lose your momentum. Have the courage to be an outsider. Take certain risks. Use common sense. Trust your instincts. Use the American dream to build your own dream. Think of yourself as a winner. The power of positive thinking. Be an original. God only created one of you, so don't try to be someone else. Never ever give up. Stay optimistic. In America, the impossible is what we all do best.
back some of the wealth.
Sunday, March 29th, the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, on Telegram. White House signals the time has come. Sometime in the next 2 days, a blackout and lockdown will be global in all countries of the world. It will last 10 to 12 days when everyone will be asked to stay at home during a specific 5-hour window. You will see the global military alliance on the streets making arrests of corrupt pedophile, drug, and trafficking rings. The corruption is coming to an end. The old world would end with a broadcast. The new world would begin as you explain to those around you what has been going on. Sunday, March 29th, EBS activates during 10 days of darkness, exposing the cabal's fall, fiat currency end, and freedom's dawn. Martial law on Telegram. Martial law enables worldwide pedophile arrests as 8-hour documentaries in 22 languages reveal the satanic deep state agenda. Jassara payouts drop during 48-hour blackout. Martial law extends for purges, continued unsealing of indictments with tribunal action. Washington, D.C., designated a military district. U.S. Inc., dissolved. Sunday, March 29th, the QFS, the takeover of the central bank monetary debt system to end the financial slavery and control over the populace. Tier 4B martial law on Telegram. The QFS is an advanced financial system launched to eradicate monopoly or monetary system, and for that purpose, a system comprises of artificial intelligence and complex computer programs fully backed by banks is needed. Quantum financial system would be a breakthrough in the world of banking, which will lead to a new era of banking. QFS and the ISO 20022XRP and XLM will not be influenced by government policies. Rather, it will be entirely backed by tangible assets like gold, platinum, silver, and will not be based upon mere pieces of paper which have no evidentiary value. National Quantum Initiative Act. World leaders flee from global collapse. Global financial system on brink of reset. Mainstream media blackout expected within hours. Wars, wars, and rumors of wars. Sunday, March 29th, 2026, Fox News. Breaking. War with Iran could end in weeks, not months. 3,554 targets left. We're hitting whatever we want. 10,000 already wiped out. 850 plus tomahawks fired. Iran's arsenal crumbling. But underground nukes, mystery missiles, and zero surrender. This ain't over yet. Sunday, March 29th, President Trump. As per Iranian government request, please let this statement serve to represent that I am pausing the period of energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6, 2026 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Iran's ballistic missile capacity is functionally destroyed, their navy access to combat ineffective, complete and total aerial dominance over Iran. Operation Epic Fury is yielding massive results. Talks with Iranian leaders are ongoing, and despite erroneous statements to the contrary by the fake news media, they are just outright lying, it's unbelievable, and others, they are going very well. Sunday, March 29, 2026, on January 17, 2016, Obama sent $400 million in cash stacked on wooden pallets in the back of an unmarked cargo plane to the hostile foreign nation of Iran. This was only the first installment of a $1.7 billion total. Most of this money went to terrorist organizations, including ISIS, which former CIA Director John Brennan and Obama had a large hand in the creation of. Obama literally funded terrorists, and he knew it. There's nothing normal about a U.S. president sending cash to a hostile foreign nation. America was played. Imagine if President Trump sent cash on pallets in the back of an unmarked cargo plane to Iran that funded terrorism directly against the United States and other countries. Gizmo TV on Telegram.
Epic fury. Moments ago, President Trump giving an update on negotiations with Iran, threatening destruction if a deal is not made.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Trey, good morning.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Operation Epic Fury has now entered week 5, and the United States continues to hammer the Iranian regime. Moments ago, President Trump took to Truth Social to give an update about the situation. He said, quote, "The United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operations in Iran. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, and if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island, and possibly all desalination plants, which we have purposely not yet touched." Now, the president's comments come after a series of U.S. and Israeli strikes over the weekend that targeted Iran's steel manufacturing sites and nuclear development facilities. Reports indicate the president is considering a limited ground operation inside of Iran, following the arrival of the USS Tripoli, manned with 3,500 troops, including 2,500 Marines, to the CENTCOM area of operation. The president was asked about the status of military plans yesterday, saying this.
We've had very good negotiations today with Iran, getting a lot of the things that they should have given us a long time ago. We'll see how it works out, but they're very good. Moving along very nicely.
Are you considering still putting boots on the ground, and would you do that without going to Congress?
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there. We don't need them all because of, the power. We're ahead of schedule with Iran.
As the war grinds on, Iran is continuing its ballistic missile attacks against Israel, focusing attacks on southern Israel in recent days. A chemical plant outside the city of Beersheba was hit with a missile fragment yesterday, causing toxic black smoke to spew from the facility. The area around the plant was evacuated. With these strikes ongoing, a spokesperson for Iran's IRGC talked over the weekend about the war and President Trump.
Trump threatens an issue one morning and retreats that same evening. He talks about negotiations for a while and decides to continue the war hours later.
We also have new video this morning from the northern Israeli city of Haifa, where part of an Iranian missile slammed into an oil refinery. You can see the fire there as the Iranians are going after more energy targets across the region. And when the IRGC is threatening President Trump, they don't realize the president wants them to be confused about the military operations. There is a large U.S. force buildup across the region and many options on the table for President Trump as this war moves forward. Guys?
That's what you're saying?
No death cats on American soil.
No cats?
No death cats.
Okay, so that's why you're here protesting today?
Yeah, because those camps are death camps. And no one wants to say you killing human beings in those camps or raping them. They doing what Hitler did. So they can shove it up their little tussies and smoke it.
Why are you crying about Trump?
Trump reduced my food stamps from $1,200 down to just $350. I can't eat. I can't survive.
Why not get a job?
I've never had a job in my life. I have anxiety. I can't work.
Save the Children, Sunday, March 29th, 2026. Blowing the lid off the intelligence and Hollywood angle to elite child trafficking, satanic cults, and ritualistic abuse for psychological operations, such as MKUltra, sex slave and assassination programming, and blackmail operations. It's always been about the children. Gitmo TV.
War on our children, child trafficking, pedophilia, grooming, transgender, rape, torture, ritual sacrifice, organ harvesting, abortions, and adrenochrome. Mr. Poole on Telegram. In the heart of a global shadow war, an elite cabal of pedophiles wages an all-out assault on humanity's most precious treasure, innocent children. Child trafficking, pedophilia, grooming, forced transgender mutilations, brutal rape, endless torture, satanic ritual sacrifice, organ harvesting for profit, abortions turned into billion-dollar industries, and the extraction of adrenochrome from terrified young victims fuel the depraved empire run by ancient bloodlines known as the Committee of 300. These monsters, embedded at the highest levels of governments, corporations, and media, have built a sophisticated network that preys on millions of children every single year, while the world remains distracted by their lies. As of March 2026, millions around the globe are awakening to the horrific reality that top wealthy elites orchestrate this nightmare. The Committee of 300 pulls the strings, directing politicians, judges, and celebrities in a coordinated attack designed to destroy future generations and harvest their life force for eternal youth and power. Patriots push forward, exposing the networks as the deep state crumbles under the weight of its own evil. The United States remains the world's largest consumer of child sex, with Mexico as the primary supplier feeding the demand. Over 60% of global child pornography originates there. But the real horror unfolds at open borders where officials look the other way. United States Health and Human Services whistleblowers have testified under oath that 85,000 unaccompanied migrant children vanish into a multi-billion-dollar trafficking machine run by bad actors. The government itself acts as the middleman, delivering innocent souls to unchecked sponsors who deliver them straight into the hands of predators. Reports confirm more than 2 million children suffer trafficking annually, sold for sex, rape, and torture. Adult predators rip apart tiny bodies that must be stitched back together repeatedly, all while these victims face up to 30 assaults in a single day. Unlike drugs that sell once, a child's suffering generates endless profit. This demand explodes because the elite crave the terror-induced adrenochrome that keeps them feeling invincible. Satanic rituals involving blood sacrifice and organ harvesting occur in hidden underground facilities, protected by compromised agencies that prioritize profit over human life. President Trump declared solving human trafficking a top priority of his administration, vowing that without the people's support, nothing changes. White hat patriots and military alliances now dismantle these networks at an accelerated pace in 2026. Recent operations have uncovered adrenochrome labs and ritual sites tied directly to Committee of 300 members, leading to quiet arrests of high-profile figures who once believed themselves untouchable. The deep state's house of cards collapses as more insiders flip and expose the full scope of the evil. What if these were your children enduring this nightmare? Families worldwide must rise as soldiers in this fight to rescue the innocent and restore their freedom. The cabal's grip weakens daily as the Great Awakening spreads. Patriots worldwide demand full disclosure, military tribunals for the guilty, and a return to sovereignty that protects every child from the monsters who prey in the dark.
Sunday, March 29th, boom, Clinton crime family exposed. They turned Haiti into their $14 billion grift empire and rigged elections with Smartmatic, Freedom Media on Telegram. They controlled every contract on the disaster relief funds. You had to go through the Clintons or get zero. But that's not all. They also seized Haiti's elections and used Smartmatic, the global election fraud cartel's favorite tool, to pull off their successful operations straight from the unclassified State Department emails. Bill hid behind middlemen to secretly meddle in foreign elections while keeping his hands clean in public. This is the deep state's international voter theft blueprint laid bare. Patriots, the mask is completely off. These treasonous swamp rats, the storm is closing in on the entire Clinton cartel. What we think we know as of Monday, March 30th, 2026. Sunday, March 29th, former IRS agent. He spent 2 years of investigating claims of people who said there is no law to say we have to pay income taxes. He quit and has not paid in 25 years. We were lied to, misled, and robbed for decades. Just give it time to roll out. We are still in the matrix. Nasara Jasara Secrets on Telegram. Sunday, March 29th, Edward Snowden. Former CIA Director John Brennan identified 26 Trump associates on top of President Trump for the Five Eyes to target, spy on, and make contact with to manipulate, turn on Trump, and target for collection of misinformation. Targets were from our own intel community and law enforcement, Brennan spied on Trump and his team, lied to the American people, lied to Congress, fabricated evidence, and planned a coup, attempting to frame a sitting president of the United States. Brennan committed seditious acts of treason. His own handwritten notes and IC reports prove it. He even stated trust in Iran over President Trump. Brennan belongs in prison. Indictments are on the horizon. Sunday, March 29th, boom. Verdict delivered. Trump tells NATO never forget, then used Iran to prove it. The G7 funeral. The City of London loses the empire. Video, AMG News. Sunday, March 29th, 2026, the Luciferian reign is over. Video, before it's news. Sunday, March 29th, breaking, new warning from Edward Snowden. His chilling prediction is unfolding in real time and the West is next. Snowden latest video, AMG News. Sunday, March 29th, breaking alert. Chemtrails equals genocide. Former FBI Chief Ted Gunderson blows the whistle. This is poison. This is murder. Planes spraying death over America. Video, AMG News. Sunday, March 29th, bombshell alert. Soros and Marxist networks caught funding No Kings protests. 500 groups, $3 billion budget, $3 billion budget tied to Democrat power machine, AMG News. Sunday, March 29th, breaking medical news. Big Pharma built $1 trillion lie. The real blood sugar problem was hidden in your kidneys. Video, AMG News. Sunday, March 29th, breaking Supreme Court versus birthright citizenship. Supreme Court to decide on ending birthright citizenship for illegals. America's future on the line. Video at AMG News. Sunday, March 29th, neurologists and psychologists agree. This 15-minute stress reset routine calms any overactive brain. Most people do it wrong. AMG News.
Now the military is building a big complex under the ballroom, which has come out recently because of a stupid lawsuit that was filed. But the military is building a massive complex under the ballroom, and that's under construction, and we're doing very well. So we're ahead of schedule. It's part of it. The ballroom essentially becomes a shed for what's being built under the military, including from drones and including from any other thing. The glass on the windows, you see the big windows, the glass is extremely thick. It's high-grade bulletproof glass, so all of the windows are bulletproof. I think the Times wrote, gee, some of the windows are fake. We have no fake windows. They talked about a stairway in the south. We don't have a stairway in the south. That was replaced a long time ago. But this is a view of it from the north, and that's, if you see it, it fits in with the White House. It's almost a twin to the White House. It's something we just wanted to pay tribute to the White House.
People in Beverly Hills, California, are all saying the same thing. They looked up at the sky and saw something they couldn't explain. At first, it seemed like a normal cloud just drifting above the city, but then it stopped moving, like everything else, and just hovered there, holding its shape like it was alive, slowly shifting and pulling itself together like it was breathing. And the creepiest part is, it didn't follow the wind at all. It moved on its own, like it had a purpose.
Election fraud, Sunday, March 29th. The election fraud that's occurring in the United States is not only a massive national security threat, but it's also connected and happening in 100-plus countries around the world, including places like South Korea, Canada, Australia, Brazil, Ecuador, the Philippines, Republic of Congo, and many more. This needs to be investigated by military intelligence because of this global election fraud cartel's resources, capabilities, and players involved, which leads to a massive criminal conspiracy that can topple and take control of countries around the world and install whatever regimes that they choose. Nasara Jassara Secrets on Telegram. Sunday, March 29, 2026, Fox News. Democrats controlling the auto pen. When Joe Biden was president, ordered agencies to ignore all fraud and instead only work to qualify as many illegals as possible for benefits. RFK Jr., I found out from people in my agency they were ordered by the Biden White House not to do program integrity. In other words, not to enforce against fraud. They were told we want to focus on only enrollment and getting more and more people into the system. Emergency broadcast system on Telegram.
Journalist James O'Keefe and his team recently went undercover along LA's Skid Row to expose election fraud in California.
After 9, they're going to give you an additional one more sign. After that one more, you get $3.
But what is that petition for? You know
what the petition for?
O'Keefe says in the nearly half-hour video, they captured 28 times state non-governmental employees encouraged the homeless to use fake addresses in order to sign petitions and register to vote.
What do I put as my address? Yeah, just put you live on Pinocchio Lane.
Oh, good.
In this video, we captured it 28 times over the course of a few days. That means it's happening tens, if not hundreds of thousands of times.
On hidden cameras, petitioners admitting they're paid between $7 and $10 per signature, but it is a federal crime to provide false information on a voter registration form or offer payment.
Now, because you haven't registered, I need to register you so I can get paid too. Okay, you guys, I need to get paid.
The video also highlighting the LA Homeless Services Authority, who distributes federal money to Weingart Center, a homeless service in LA. A LASA employee being caught on camera directing people to where fraudulent petitioners were located and coaching plausible deniability.
Go to Skid Row and see if there's people out there with clipboards. With clear ignorance is no excuse for the rules. But a lot of times I have to say I didn't know. I had no idea.
In response to the reporting, state leaders, including the first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District of California, acknowledging what's being shown, writing on X, quote, "I want to assure the public that this DOJ, under the leadership of Attorney General Pam Bondi, will aggressively pursue anyone and everyone involved in violating federal election laws." The LA District Attorney's Office also responding to O'Keefe, "Our office received your complaint and will open a file for preliminary review." Plus, Governor Gavin Newsom, his office writing, quote, "Anyone caught engaging in this activity should be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law."
And I think that's why Newsom is putting out the statement he's putting out. I think because he knows he's going to have to do something on this.
Now, this investigation comes as the state of California is already being looked into by the Trump administration surrounding alleged hospice and home health care fraud. Independent journalist Nick Shirley also recently releasing a video claiming to have found over $170 million in state fraud.
Pandora's box of corruption, New Hampshire's corruption, American cartels, and the deep state's unseen web of corruption. Biden, Clinton, IRS, FBI, DEA, etc. List of people named in the Pandora Papers. Q on Telegram. In an explosive new development rocking the nation in 2026, the Pandora Papers have unleashed fresh revelations tying New Hampshire directly to powerful American cartels and the deep state's enormous web of corruption. This sinister network includes drug cartels, human trafficking rings, extensive money laundering, and blatant treason endangering our republic. Corruption plaguing America is the result of a carefully engineered system by dark forces seeking total domination. New Hampshire, known as the Switzerland of America, serves as the secret headquarters for these criminal enterprises shielded by top power brokers. Deep state figures like Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and their allies direct these operations. The Pandora Papers expose their offshore accounts, hiding profits from illicit activities. Whistleblowers like James O'Keefe face vicious attacks from the weaponized IRS, FBI, and DEA, which protect elites while targeting patriots. Leadership offices are deeply compromised. Clinton's alleged cartel and trafficking links horrify patriots, and Michael Flynn's persecution shows how threats to the system are eliminated. New Hampshire's secrecy enables huge dirty money flows funding election fraud and child exploitation at shocking scales. The Pandora Papers unmask trillions hidden by elites via millions of documents. Key names include Jordan's King Abdullah, Ukraine's Zelensky, Ecuador's Lasso, and leaders from Colombia, Panama, Chile, Congo, Cyprus, and more. Prime ministers, ministers, bankers, and tycoons worldwide are implicated, proving the globalist syndicate's reach into American affairs. Patriots, the deep state panics as the Great Awakening accelerates. With Trump returning to restore the republic, mass arrests and tribunals loom large. Credible sources confirm special forces raids in New Hampshire. are actively dismantling cartel operations and freeing trafficked victims as we speak. White hats within the military and intelligence sectors execute the plan with unwavering precision. Every patriot must rally, demand full transparency from all levels of government, support the fearless truth-tellers exposing this evil, and mentally prepare for the ultimate victory over darkness. The children of this nation will finally be protected. The traitors will face swift justice, and America will be reborn as the beacon of freedom it was destined to be. Hold the line firmly, stay united in purpose, and trust the plan completely as the storm delivers long-awaited justice and triumph for all who love this country.
Sunday, March 29, 2026, CNBC. Obamacare was a gigantic fraud operation for Democrats and insurance companies. Tier 4B, ISO 20022 on Telegram. 124 healthcare policies tied to one Social Security number. Over 59,000 dead people with active insurance policies continuing to give subsidies to insurance companies. Money Laundering 101, fraud operations, lining all their pockets with your taxpayer dollars, while you get screwed in extremely high premiums. How much longer are you willing to let this all slide with no accountability?
They targeted the homeless, the mentally ill, and even hurricane victims, all to buy luxury homes and fast cars. In one of the most disgusting betrayals of public trust we've ever seen, 2 Florida executives were just convicted for a massive $233 million Obamacare fraud scheme. Corey Lloyd and Stephen Strong didn't just break the law, they preyed on the most vulnerable people in our society. Using street marketers and deceptive sales scripts, they bribed homeless individuals with $10 bills to sign up for fully subsidized health plans they weren't even eligible for. They even bypassed federal verification by deliberately submitting Medicaid applications they knew would be denied, just to force these people into ACA plans that generated millions in commissions. While everyday Americans struggle with rising healthcare costs, these guys were living large on your taxpayer dollars. But the game is up. They're facing decades in prison for wire fraud and conspiracy. This isn't just a financial crime. It's a moral failure that shows exactly how broken the system has become when progressivism isn't held in check. Are these isolated cases, or is the entire ACA system built for this kind of exploitation? It's time to wake up.
Mass traumatic event incoming. Breaking. White hats unleash the storm in 2026 as deep state cabal faces reckoning and mass arrests accelerate. 10 Days of Darkness on Telegram. In the latest Global Defense War Monthly panel, military experts delivered explosive insights into the behind-the-scenes battles reshaping the world. Patriots, the veil is ripping wide open right now in 2026, and the truths emerging will validate every sacrifice in this great awakening. President Donald J. Trump orchestrates the largest sting operation in human history from the shadows, with pieces slamming into place at lightning speed. High-level politicians, Hollywood elites, big pharma kingpins, and centuries-old pedophile networks face rounding up in covert black site operations, invisible to mainstream media. Gitmo tribunals operate non-stop. Executions have commenced, and thousands of sealed indictments are unsealing. The storm is not approaching. It rages here and now, biblical in scale, avoiding quagmires and coming exposure of global election fraud alongside medical tyranny accountability. Rob Cunningham stresses spiritual warfare with life and death in the tongue, urging rejection of MK-Ultra indoctrination. Derek Johnson reinforces the ongoing military government under Trump's supreme command, governed by the Law of War Manual. Every action aligns perfectly with constitutional and military law to prevent swamp regrowths. Operations in the Strait of Hormuz target not only 20% of global oil, but City of London control mechanisms, human trafficking routes, and deeper satanic strongholds. Iran faces leadership shifts, not regime chaos, cutting octopus tentacles of globalist finance. Cuba already operates as effective U.S. territory, with similar transformations unfolding across captured nations. The good, the bad, and the ugly play out. But the golden age awaits on the other side with debt, jubilee, prosperity, and restored freedoms. Patriots must pray, plan, and prepare with supplies, precious metals, and local action. Know your rights and laws to hold the line. Trump has already secured alien-derived tech from cleared DUMBs, fueling medbed rollouts that will heal patriots first and expose the cabal's hidden immortality rituals in coming EBS drops.
The finisher, Donald Trump. Lieutenant Colonel Bosi, let's discuss, if you will, Cuba. Will Cuba, and any way you want to go on Cuba, but one question specific is, do you feel Cuba will become, when all is said and done, the U.S. territory?
All right. Thanks, John. I'm going to be quick because I can't wait to hear what Derek's got to say on this. Derek, you're brilliant, mate. What can I say? Very quickly, will Cuba become U.S. territory? It already is. That's point number one. Point number two, Cuba existed as a thorn in the side of the U.S. for decades because it was allowed to. There was no reason why it couldn't. That was allowed to happen. Point number three. This is what we're about to see in Cuba has already been effected in reality. It's just part of that operational level war, the campaign of leadership change, not regime change, but leadership change in key countries already been taken care of. It's all good, but it's just being rolled out now for the people to watch the show. As Derek said, Donald likes to give the people drama because that's what the people like. So there you go. That's point number four. Point number five. The diaspora, the Cuban diaspora, and we've got them in Australia, we've got them in Florida, everywhere. They're chanting for the liberation of their home country, much like it's a replay of Iran. We saw all the Persians saying, "Please save us, Donald Trump." So again, it's a replay of that same strategy. Number five, that is number five. Number six is the blackouts that they're having now. That's to create drama. That's to create the clamor, the call for somebody to save their country because they're about to get their third blackout. So the stage is being set for the people to see what's already happened, but in a sequenced, I guess, series of events that makes sense for the what do you call them, Derek? The target audience. Anyway, that's me done. That's a quick and dirty on Cuba. It's all good. It's all safe. It's in safe hands, and we're watching the show.
Sunday, March 29th, The Dark Future of Zionism, or Israel is Last, the emergency broadcast system on Telegram. When you read Q Drop 916 and it said, "We are saving Israel for last," they were not talking about the one where Benjamin Netanyahu resides. You need to understand one thing. The biblical Israel isn't the Middle East proxy state engineered post-World War II by Rothschild orchestration and Balfour Pacts. It's the spiritual and territorial mantle carried by America's founding stock. Descendants of Ephraim, Manasseh tribes via Anglo-Saxon migrations, British Israelism roots buried in 19th century archives but echoed in Q's Great Awakening narrative. Benjamin Netanyahu will be removed through other means. The reason why you see so many traitors panicking about Iran is because this is what was holding up justice domestically and abroad. You will be very surprised about those who are nervous about this conflict. Donald Trump will swing the block and focus all attention on domestic criminal assets. They will no longer be able to use foreign boogeymen anymore to keep Americans in check. Everything I'm telling you should have clicked yesterday when your Congress voted to protect itself from investigation. You all have seen nothing yet. Donald Trump did not forget what Benjamin Netanyahu did in Iran before this war. Saving it for last means the final unmasking exposes how the fake Israel, Netanyahu's domain, was a deep state decoy, funding terror proxies, manipulating U.S. aid, $38 billion plus cycles, and shielding bloodline rituals in Tel Aviv bunkers, while the true Israel, America, gets reclaimed from cabal infiltration. You need to understand one thing. Netanyahu's insertion into Israeli politics post-1967 Six-Day War enlistment was engineered by CIA Mossad joint PACs, positioning him as a U.S.-aligned hardliner to maintain Middle East chaos grids proxy wars. Aid siphons, $3.8 billion annual U.S. taxpayer flows, and bloodline protections for Rothschild-linked settlements in West Bank enclaves like Ariel, named after the biblical figure, but really a Merovingian sigil hub.
When I come to cross chilly Jordan River, be there to bid me come home, my son.